Welcome to the Parsha Perspective. Each week, we will delve deep in a weekly Torah portion to find a practical and insightful way to enhance your daily life. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Rabbi Shalom Yemini, and each week we will look into the weekly Torah portion to find practical and insightful ways to enhance your daily life. This week's Parsha Perspective is in honor of the Refuah Shlema, the complete and speedy recovery of HaRav Amitai ben Shoshanna and Shaul ben Berta. This week's Parsha Perspective is in loving memory of Edward Ben Efraim, Shlomo Ben Edward, and Yirachmiel Daniel Ben Gedalia. May their souls be uplifted and may their memories be a blessing. This week's Torah portion is Parshas Va'era, the freedom mentality. Our Parsha begins with Hashem responding to Moshe's outcry of why he allowed the situation of the Jewish nation to get worse. Before Moshe demanded from Pharaoh to let the Jewish people go, the Egyptians provided the straw to make cement. But after Moshe approached Pharaoh and demanded that he let the Jewish nation go, the Egyptians stopped providing the straw to make cement and kept the number quota of cement blocks that each Jew had to supply. Hashem responded to Moshe by revealing one of his most holy and secretive names, a name that he did not even reveal to our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Hashem told Moshe that he has heard the cries of the Jewish people, and now he will avenge their pain and lead the Jewish nation out of Egypt. The Parsha contains 7 out of the 10 plagues that God struck the Egyptians with for enslaving the Jewish nations: blood, frogs, lice, wild animals, death of cattle, boils, and fiery hail. Each plague's cycle lasted 1 month. Moshe and Aaron would warn Pharaoh for the upcoming plague for 3 weeks, and then the plague itself would last 1 week. Amazingly, during the last plague of this parsha, the fiery hail, Pharaoh told Moshe, "Chatasi hapam Hashem hatzadik v'ani v'ami rishoim." I have sinned this time, the Lord is righteous, and me and my people are the guilty ones. Nevertheless, as soon as Moshe stopped the plague, Pharaoh's conscience magically disappeared, and he refused to let the Jewish nation go. However, a question comes to mind. When Moshe's message of hope and freedom fell on deaf ears, he turned to God and he lamented that if the Jewish people won't listen to him, how could Pharaoh heed his warnings? And Hashem responded to both Moshe and Aaron, "V'yitzaveim el bnei Yisrael ve'el Pharaoh melech Mitzrayim lohitzi es bnei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim." Instruct the Jewish people and Pharaoh the king of Egypt to let the Jewish nation go. But how is that an answer to Moshe's question? Furthermore, why did Hashem instruct Moshe to tell both Pharaoh and the Jewish people to let the Jewish people go free? Rashi Rav Shlomo Yitzchaki, the leading commentary on the Torah, answers this question by explaining how Moshe was to interact with Pharaoh. He writes that Hashem is instructing Moshe to deal with Pharaoh with respect due to royalty. He is meant to be calm, level-headed, and balanced when communicating with Pharaoh as he should be with the Jewish nation. Since his complaint to Hashem was about the Jewish people not listening, he is being instructed to act and eventually convince the Jewish nation and Pharaoh to let the Jewish nation go free. He must not be disrespectful, rude, or angry when dealing with them. Rather, he should act as a leader. However, the Ramban, Rav Moshe ben Nachman, a leading scholar and commentary, gives a deeper and more profound explanation. He writes that since Pharaoh and the Jewish people both had to play a part in the freedom, Hashem is telling Moshe Rabbeinu that he must convince each side. He needs to convince Pharaoh that it is in his best interest to free the nation. But he must also convince the Jewish people to want to be free. Since the Jewish people didn't want to hear or even think about freedom at that time, as the Pasuk tells us clearly, "V'lo shamu el Moshe mikotzer ruach ha'mevedek hasha." They did not want to listen to Moshe because of the slavery and hard labor. They had no spirit. They had no hope. The Ramban explains that Moshe's job as a leader is to ensure the release of his people. But since they don't think they can be freed, he must change their minds. Because if they don't think about liberation, they will never live to experience it. They will not have the drive and the fight within themselves to survive until they are released. Hashem is answering Moshe Rabbeinu that he must prepare the Jewish people for freedom and he must convince Pharaoh to free them. In our daily life, we cannot have a victimhood mindset if we wish to grow and succeed, because a victimhood mindset is an attitude of compromise and defeat rather than progress and development. If we cannot face the possibility of disappointment and failure, how can we prosper during challenging times? But the modern day Yetzias Mitzrayim, the modern day Exodus, is not allowing ourselves to be broken down when things do not go our way. To have a survivor mindset, to let go of the voice within ourselves that we cannot reach success. because we must be flexible and take on each challenge with the intensity, energy, and dedication it requires to overcome it. And then we will achieve this quote: the greatest of achievement are accomplished not through strength, but perseverance. Have a great weekend and good Shabbos. Thank you for tuning in to the Parsha Perspective. Check out our website, theparshaperspective.com. Send thoughts and comments to theparshaperspective@gmail.com. Till next time, thanks for listening.